Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's funny, the day after the Knicks season ended, we saw Shams come out saying that rival executives are going to be watching the Julius Randle situation regarding the New York Knicks about whether they extend him or they keep him or whatever. Obviously, a few weeks ago, the news was that Julius Randle went back to CAA. So that was kind of like
out of the blue.
Randle, out of the blue. So obviously, I think Randle wants to be a New York Knick, but we all know the first year he was in the playoffs versus the Hawks wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Last year, injured versus the Miami Heat, wasn't really Julius Randle. This year, injured. So it's like we really haven't seen it in the postseason from Julius Randle. We've seen it in the regular season from Julius Randle. And I keep going back to January. It was amazing with OG Anunoby and the core. There's going to be a lot of questions surrounding, if the New York Knicks go after somebody else. Julius Randle's probably going to be in that package. Mitchell Robinson is probably a name to watch this summer too. Probably going to be in a package as well. Julius Randle, man. I keep going back to it. That's a name to watch. That's a name to watch, but it's like, I keep going back to January, but at the same time, it's like, how do the Knicks do they want to run it back? Do they want to improve? Or do they want to just improve in increments? Do they want to improve the bench?
Here's how I feel about Julius Randle, in my opinion. And yeah, it goes back to January as well. Look, obviously, Julius Randle in the playoffs left much to be desired, right? Wasn't great in the Hawks series, got hurt in the Heat series. I feel like that's a big question mark only because the Hawks series was basically Julius Randle's first taste in the playoffs, basically as the man, right? I think it's completely different when you have Jalen Brunson. And not even last season's Jalen Brunson, but this season's Jalen Brunson. Because we saw Julius, JB, OG Anunoby together, and it looked like a completely different Julius Randle, engaged on defense, hitting his shots at a high clip. If he would get doubled, you kick it out to OG, you kick it out to JB, and vice versa. Honestly, the way I feel, I want Julius Randle back. I want Julius Randle back, man. It's hard to replace 20 and 10, and I think Knicks fans are quick to forget, how good Julius Randle could actually be. Granted, shoulder injury. We don't know if it's going to be something that lingers because he did try to, news leaked out that he tried to rehab it and then had a setback. But don't get me wrong. If the right piece comes around and it's another star, somebody that can help this team and is going to give you close to the same production Julius is going to give you, maybe fit better, I'm down for that as well. But part of me wants to see this Knicks team run it back and maybe tinker with a few pieces, whether that's Mitch, whether that's Precious. Part of me wants to see Julius Randle because look, yes, he got injured, but that's not his MO. Julius Randle is usually a healthy guy, marathon guy who plays 90% of the games he's out there for.
Look, starting five: Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. That's your starting five that was pretty much dominating the NBA in January. What do they go, like 14? 12 and 3? Yeah, they were just dominant. That's not without our bench players. That is without Bogdanovich and no Burks. Pretty much no scoring off the bench. That's what we needed. That's why we traded for those guys. You got the ascension of Deuce McBride. That was without Mitchell Robinson because he was still hurt. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And that Randle situation is going to be interesting to watch.